Hi there. I want to tell you about something I use called TakeThemAmeal.com. It's actually a meal train type of a service. It's at a website called TakeThemAmeal.com. One person sets this up, which in a lot of cases is me, because I'm the head of our ministry at our church called Comfort Baby Food. So I have a team of people ready to do this, but you can do this with a group of friends. Let's say you find out somebody is going through a difficult time or just had a new baby or whatever, and you want to set up a series of meals to be taken on different days. That's what this website enables you to do. So the organizer goes in there and sets up the page, sets up the dates. You want to find out from your recipients certain things like address and contact info and how many people you're going to be feeding and how they want meals to come. Like you can have them be every day, one day after another. You can schedule them for every other day or one day on, 2 days off. However the people want it to work, you just set it up that way. So you get that all set up and then you send the link out to all the people who you think might want to sign up for this, and they go in there, they click on that link, go in, they'll look at the page and decide which date they want to take. And then there's a place for contact info in the little box that they sign up in, plus a place for them to put what they're bringing. Several years ago, I went to someone's home and they had people they knew that were bringing them food, but they didn't have any kind of a sign-up page. So we ended up, I believe it was 5 nights in a row, having lasagna. Now, I absolutely love lasagna, but lasagna 5 nights in a row was kind of a lot. So that's one of the wonderful things about this site, is that you can sign up for what you want to bring, seeing what other people are bringing. So you can sign up within a context of what others are taking so that you don't double up. I'm going to show you how to set up a Take Them a Meal sign up page. So I'm going to head on over to where I have the landing page for TakeThemAmeal.com. And that's just exactly what it is. Take Them a Meal, no spaces, no underlines, just TakeThemAmeal.com. And this is the page that you will come to. Now this is on my cell phone, of course. But you can see there in the middle, there's 3 yellow boxes. If you click on the send one, then send them a meal. And that's a little on the spendy side, but you certainly are getting a service that is worth the time and money. Then in the middle, find is just for if you are looking for one. It says here to look for the recipient's last name, and then you'd have to have a password. But what we're going to do here is create one. So see the green button there, you're going to hit that. And that's going to take you into this page where we have all these things that we're going to need to fill in. I'm the meal coordinator, so I'm going to get myself in there, and my last name, and my email, and phone number, admin password. I'm just going to put 44444, okay? And so that's what I use if I want to get in there and edit it. I'm going to have to remember that. So, and then we've got the meal recipient. We have, today I'm actually setting one up for John and Stacy, but I'm not going to give all of their info. But he's ill, and I'm going to put their last name. And then email, I would put her email in there. Whoever is the main one I'm going to be contacting, and it will be Stacy. I don't have that, so I'll need to find it. And then her phone number, I'll put that in there once I'm all done with this. User password, I just always use Yummy for every single meal I set up. So, and then address, where the meals should be delivered. I'm going to put a fake address in just so that you can get an idea of how this map thingy works. This address that I put in here, it may exist and it may not. So then once the page is all set up, there is going to be a spot on it that says View Map that you click on, and it will actually take you to, as it says right here, it'll give you a link to Google Maps for directions to their home. So start meals, we're going to start them tomorrow. And we're going to end them. I'm not sure when because we don't know how many people we've got helping, but I'm just going to say March. So let's just say 20th. Okay. And I always have to click done or nothing will stick.
All right, so days when meals are needed. Now, this kind of confused me at first, but basically what it means is whatever your schedule is it going to fall on these days? So I talk with the person ahead of time and find out what their needs are. And then I call this the frequency. Do they want the meals to come every day, every other day, 1 day on, 2 days off, however they want it? They're going to have their meals come every other day. So that means that over a period of a couple of weeks, every day of the week will be involved. So I'm going to go ahead and just check each one of those days. And this one over here is always its little lone self for Saturday that's on the next line. So just to give you a heads up on that. I talk with the person ahead of time and find out their contact info. I'll put her name and then I'll put her contact info there. It can be whatever they like to use, whether that's email, texting, Facebook Messenger. I'll just say specifically what that is. And then time they like to eat. For them, it's 5:30, but I let the recipients know that they will not always get their meals brought at 5:30. It may be that somebody works and they don't get off until 6. They could bring their meal the day before, or they could have somebody bring it earlier in the day, put it in the fridge, and then the recipient can bake it themselves. But then I also let the meal taker know that they are not obligated to take it at 5:30 because we would very likely have a lot fewer people able to sign up if they knew they had to take it at a certain time. So I let both the recipient and the meal takers know that that's just when they like to eat. If you want to take your meal all put together, cooked and ready to eat, or maybe take it a half hour earlier for them to bake or do the vegetable or whatever. And another thing I had on here was I mentioned allergies, and they don't have any allergies, but they did say no mushrooms. So I'm going to just put that on here. So that's just a preference, not an allergy. And then I also have a place here for how many are we feeding. And I have broken that down into how many large eaters, medium eaters, and small eaters. So in this case, we have one large eater. We have two medium eaters. And we have one small eater. And then I also have a spot here for directions. This is especially if the home is a little bit difficult to find. A lot of times navigators, they aren't able to get really specific if there's something a little unusual about it, and that is actually what happened in this case. I now know how to get there, but I now also know what landmarks to have people look for and how to get back to their home. But in this case, I happen to know that there are some special directions that people are going to need to know about. If I don't happen to know this personally, then I find out from the recipient because they generally have certain things that they like to tell people about how to get there, you know, what to look for, landmarks, etc. So I will put those down later on. External web links here, this would be like, for instance, if there's a Facebook page and there's pictures there, I could link them to a picture of them on that Facebook page, or a website, or whatever they might have. All right, so it looks to me like I've got everything filled in that I usually do. And now down here at the bottom it says submit schedule details. All right, it says all fields are required. So what did I not do? Anything that's in red is required. So I need to go ahead and put that in. Okay, so back down to submit schedule details right down there. So this is what the page looks like with everything entered. So then down here, I've got the dates. So you can see here they go from March 5th to March 20th. However, we're only going to take a meal every other day. So how do I deal with that? Okay, I go over to the side and I'm going to cancel the dates we don't want. Now I should have actually started it on Saturday. So I see that I need to delete Friday, March 5th, March 7th, March 9th, and on. So I'm going to go over here. I know that the top one is, let's get a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm going to hit cancel. And I'm going to just go on down the whole list and hit all these cancels. And then I'm going to come back and mark yes, I'm sure. Okay, so now I'm going to go and mark yes, yes, I'm sure, yes, I'm sure. Because what it's asking me is, are you sure you really want to cancel the need for a meal on this day? And I'm saying yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. All right. So now I've got our actual meal schedule. Those dates are all the ones that they will be getting a meal on. And now, as for how to sign up, you can see here that we've got the date, March 6th. Next column over says meal provider, what I plan to bring or send, and that's where that send box out on the front page over on the right side, there were those 3 yellow boxes. If you wanted to send a meal, that's what you would access. All right, so then what I do is I click over here on take. Okay, see that little take button right there? I'm going to click that, and all these boxes now appear. Okay, so I'm going to get my name in here and my email address, my phone number, meal. I have a couple of usuals. I thought I'd mention this now. A couple usuals that I do. One I call Thanksgiving Memories Casserole, and people love that. Another one that I do is meatloaf, which I have a video on. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Thanksgiving casserole. All right, and then I have other things that I'll add to that, like blueberry muffins, green beans. I think olives just make any meal more special, so I always throw in a can of black olives. And then peach crisp. You do not have to do all of these things. This would be like a full menu. Some people just take the main course, like they would just take a lasagna, and they wouldn't necessarily take things to go with it. I think it's nice to do that, but everyone has their own way of doing it. I just tell them what I encourage them to do, but they're free to do it however they want. And then another thing that people can do is go to a fast food place. In fact, one gal all the time, this is what she does, is she says favorite takeout food. So she will get a hold of the recipient and find out what kind of fast food they like, and she will go and get it for them and take it to their home. That's always welcome too. Pizza is a popular one. Just a second here. I'm going to go ahead and sign up and then get back so you can see what I have here. All right, so I am now on the schedule. You can see my name there, what I'm bringing. And then over to the right, it says change. Okay, so that's if I decide I'm going to do corn muffins instead of blueberry muffins. Then I would hit change and I just go back and everything would pop up just like what you just saw, and I would change it. The idea behind having all these signups is that people look at what else is being brought and we avoid duplicates. Like with one person one time, they had like 4 chicken dishes in a row. And I'm not sure that I would complain about it, but the recipient did. And so I messaged a couple of the gals and said, what would be the chances of you changing to something else? But the idea is that they're supposed to be looking at this themselves. And then another tip is, if at all possible, take your items in disposable containers. This way, the recipient does not have this whole big pile of serving dishes, muffin tins, etc., that they have to return to people, especially if they are in a position of needing meals to be brought. They probably don't need one more thing to do.
So anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I highly recommend it. I've used it literally hundreds of times in the 16 or so years that I've been heading up this ministry, and it is very user-friendly. Even someone who has very little computer experience is able to work with this and get signed up and take their meal. So thanks for watching.